Hey, so it's been roughly about 8 months since I moved to Gothenburg, Sweden, and I'm here to give you somewhat of a little update. Perhaps some words of wisdom. Not that I have very many, but we're gonna try. Now, if you're watching this video, maybe you've recently moved to a different country and you are feeling a little bit out of place, or you're not really sure how to deal with the emotions that you're going through as far as changing and dealing with culture shock, perhaps even making friends in general. Sorry if I look a little rough. I woke up and I've been trying to get some work done and I can't seem to focus. I figured that it might help if I get to do this video because I've been meaning to do it for a long time. So again, it's been about 8 months since I moved to Gothenburg, Sweden from Los Angeles. By far, one of the most common questions that I typically get when I meet somebody new is, why would you move to Gothenburg, Sweden from Los Angeles? Sometimes it's just a simple why? And I'm not really here to answer that question. I think today I'm just here to give a little bit of update and perhaps a little bit of insight as to what my experience has been so far. Now, to give you a little bit of background and context, I'm going to start off by saying that Gothenburg is the second largest city in Sweden. The title of the largest city in Sweden is given to Stockholm. Now, I come from Los Angeles, obviously a very, very large city. Sweden is just about the same size as California. Now, Stockholm being the largest city in Sweden is only about 1/4 of the size of Los Angeles. Now, Gothenburg is only about 1/6 of the size of Los Angeles. You're probably asking, why is this important? And I bring this up because Gothenburg, to me, feels like an incredibly small city. And I've been to Stockholm, and even Stockholm feels incredibly small to me. Obviously, Los Angeles is incredibly large, and living in Los Angeles has its pros and cons, just as I would say that living in Gothenburg, to me, has had some pros and cons. I, of course, moved here for my fiance, Hannah. So moving from a city like Los Angeles to Gothenburg, Sweden is definitely a bit of a culture shock, not just because obviously you're changing countries, but there are so many things that are incredibly different here that to me are oftentimes that I just make comments about. Not necessarily complain, and if it is complaining, sometimes it's just I don't know, just to kind of mention like, why do things happen this way? And a lot of times they don't make sense to me. I've learned to stop asking why and just kind of, I don't know, go with the flow in a sense. Unfortunately, as of late, it's been a little bit tough for me and I've been getting a little homesick. More so because I've gone back to Los Angeles twice since I've moved to Sweden. And every time that I've gotten more and more homesick. And I think that comes from mostly missing my family and my friends and being familiar with my surroundings. Oftentimes, I've been feeling like I sometimes don't fit in. Maybe I'm just the obnoxious American in the room. Or perhaps I feel like I'm just so incredibly used to the American way that I've had to kind of like reset my mind to something different. Now, so far, Gothenburg has been great. I've enjoyed the city. I've had the privilege to be able to take some time off. I think for the most part, a lot of the complaints come from my American mindset and the way that I do things, and I need to really work on shifting that. That has been one of the biggest challenge towards the beginning. Now, the challenges are a little bit more complex. Sweden has been really an experience that I can't really put into words other than just saying that it's incredibly different. There has been a lot of culture shock. A lot of the times that's what usually scares a lot of people, and after some time they end up moving back because of that. Sweden and Gothenburg has been incredibly calm. As someone that is from such a large city like Los Angeles that has so much chaos, so much culture and diversity, there's always something happening. And now I've had the privilege to just move here and enjoy the stillness for a bit. And these days I can find it a little bit difficult to even make a comment or complain about anything in general. Mostly because there are so many complex emotions that come with moving to a different country. Because I think about so many people that are forced to leave their homes out of circumstances that are out of their control. And I think about those people, and a lot of these people that are refugees don't have any control of where they're going or, what they are needing to do to survive. And when I think about that, it really makes my experience feel a little bit more privileged, and I try not to complain as much of many things because I don't I'm not in that situation. Which leads me to my next point. Oftentimes, it's hard to find other people to connect with, mostly because when I talk to somebody about it, it feels like I can't complain about the small things that I'm thinking about. Because oftentimes I have this sense of guilt. So it's hard to connect with people on that level. I miss my friends and my family and being around things that I'm familiar with. Gothenburg has been incredibly nice. It was an incredibly nice city during the summer. There's so much to do. There's so many activities happening. People like to just slow down in life in general and enjoy the sun, enjoy the weather. The city is really focusing on their culture and diversity and art scene. And that's what my field is. So I'm generally trying to tap in a little bit more with that. I've made tons of friends. Lots of people have been incredibly kind and welcoming. And contrary to what people believe as far as like how Swedes don't talk to anybody or just kind of mind their own business, which is true, they do mind their own business. But I will say that once you begin a conversation with them, and once you have that icebreaker, they will not stop talking. I've met so many people and I've made so many friends just by simply saying something nice, such as, I love your outfit, and even just not knowing the language and saying, I'm sorry, I just moved here. That is just a simple icebreaker that will get them talking, and really, they're just kind and curious and want to get to know you. And I really, really appreciate that. In contrast to Los Angeles, where it can feel a little bit more superficial depending on where you're at. So my experience in that sense has been really, really, really good. I think for the most part, biggest culture shock is me having to turn off my American mindset. That and the weather. The weather, from what I understand, is about to get really bad for the winter, and I need to brace for that. So I'm trying my best to do so. I'm trying not to ramble here. Generally, I've found that a lot of people that move to a different country end up leaving after about a year or so when they have discovered that it's not for them, or they made the decision that it's too tough to integrate into the culture, the new culture. Now, if you're watching this video, maybe you've recently moved to a different country and you are feeling a little bit out of place, or you're not really sure how to deal with the emotions that you're going through as far as changing and dealing with culture shock, perhaps even making friends in general. People generally say that it's about a year or so before you make the decision of whether this is for you or not. And what I am going to say to that is that I don't think that there is a hard set deadline for that, and you shouldn't give yourself a hard set deadline. I think when you know, and when you feel that it isn't for you, then you will fully understand. And what I think that it's important is that you listen to yourself. I've been journaling a lot, so I think writing down your thoughts is very, very important. It's easy to brush things off and say, I'll deal with it tomorrow. Or it's easy to just say, well, it's just temporary. Maybe my feeling is temporary. And as much as I've been homesick and I've missed Los Angeles, I think I mostly miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss the accessibility to things a lot of the times. But to me, and this is the biggest point that I want to make, is that when I think about moving back to Los Angeles, I don't necessarily see myself there again. Sure, I see myself there spending time with my friends and my family because I miss them. However, I don't necessarily see myself, I don't know, living there right now. And that's very big to me, mostly because what this is saying to me is that I am starting to make Sweden my home a little more. And part of me is resilient because it's also a lot of self-identity conflicts that I have going on with, do I have to change as a person just to fit in here? Do I leave other people that I knew back home behind just so I can start over here? Am I really trying to start over? Like, what is it that I'm really trying to answer? And that's why I say it's important to listen to yourself, ask yourself those tough questions, and not necessarily look for an answer, but begin to really have that conversation with yourself. As a person and a creative, staying curious has always been very important to me. And living here has not only expanded my personality and I've grown as a person and character. It's really kept me curious. Every time that I go out, I see something new, I meet somebody new, I make a new friend, I'm learning the language, and I'm really taking my mind just through this process and just learning new things. And I can see myself growing. And I think that's what has really kept me motivated to just continue to give this an opportunity. So in the long term, I will say that the experience of moving to a different country or just changing your general area that you're used to is very, very important. That's done so much to me. It's opened up my mind to so many things that I may not have even thought about before. So before you go ahead and ask yourself, like, is this really for me? Like, do I really want to do this? I think it's important to give yourself time and listen to yourself and just take it day by day, because you're not going to know from one day to another. It will be a slow process for you to understand what it is to process all those emotions that you're going through. I've been heavily journaling a lot. Usually every day I write down what I'm thinking, what I'm processing, what I'm feeling, observing. And that has been really key for me. And even though I've been feeling homesick, I understand why it is that I'm feeling homesick, or what it is that I'm feeling homesick about. And I work on doing something about it here. And sometimes that just means having a FaceTime call with my brothers and sisters, or even just looking for inspiration for my next project. To wrap everything up, it has been a little tough moving from Los Angeles to Sweden. However, there are worse things. There are many people, like I mentioned earlier, that are forced to leave their home for circumstances out of their control. And I'm not in this situation, and I'm aware of that what I am experiencing right now is a privilege. So I'm doing my best to make the most of it. So if at any point you are uneasy or you're not sure whether you made the right decision or life-changing decision is the right thing to do, take some time. You know, there's no rush. There shouldn't be any rush to really answer those questions. Overall, Sweden has been great. It's a beautiful country. It has so much to offer, but I am still giving myself more time to really fully understand what it is that works for me. So if you have any questions or anything that I can answer for you in regards to my experience, or perhaps you're thinking about making a life-changing decision, a big move like that, I can't promise that I'll be able to give you the direct answer that will answer that question for you. However, I will give you my side of the story and what I've been dealing with, what I've been struggling with, or what has been the biggest change for me, and hopefully that will help. Feel free to reach out, leave a comment, let me know what you think, do you have any questions for me, and I'm hoping to post maybe once a week. I will try to make it more often, mostly because I have to really get in the mindset of just recording a lot more as well. But let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.